Good evening and welcome to Options Evening. My name is Mr. Saunders and I'm Head of Enterprise. And this evening I'd like to just run through a few slides with you and just give you a bit more information about what the BTec Enterprise Tech Award is comprised of. So firstly, what I would say is if you're watching this video and you've already got an interest in the business world, and you're interested in sort of current affairs, then certainly this would be a course that would be well suited to yourself. The first thing to note with this BTec Enterprise Tech Award is that there are three main components of study, some of which obviously you will do in year 10, and then some of which you will complete in year 11. At the start of year 10, what we would be doing is looking at the component 1. So this would start off with some learning in class, particularly focusing in on what do we mean by what is enterprise, what is an enterprise, how do we define enterprises, and thinking about what the definitions are and how enterprises may vary in terms of size and actually what it is they offer and maybe what their aims and objectives are. Alongside that, also in component 1, we're very much interested in the entrepreneurs who set up these enterprises, and we explore in quite a lot of detail the different things which will potentially affect how successful an enterprise is based on the entrepreneur and the characteristics that they exhibit. The final part with component 1 is then to think about competition, market research. How do we use that information in order for our enterprises to be successful, and thinking about applying that to a practical context. Now, I've mentioned now about applying this with component 1. The way this one is assessed is very much internally. I'll just move it on. And you will be actually needing to know 2 local enterprises which you can write about. So you will be exploring the enterprise, writing down a little bit of detail in terms of what type of enterprise it is, what are the goods or services it provides, but then also looking at doing a bit of a comparison between the 2 enterprises. Then also thinking about the entrepreneurs who run those enterprises and doing a little bit of written work describing how their characteristics have led to the success or potentially the failure of the enterprise. And so that is the internally assessed component, which is the first one that you would do. The second component then, component 2, and I guess in a very basic sense, I would describe this almost a little bit like Dragon's Den, in the sense that you are going to take your learning from component 1 and you're going to apply that to coming up with 3 business ideas for a micro enterprise that you could start in the local area. As part of that process, what you would need to do is a little bit of market research in terms of local competition, and then using that information to come up with a fairly detailed business plan, which would involve even things such as what would the costs be to set the enterprise up, what pricing strategies would you use, thinking a little bit about promotion in terms of how would you get your enterprise known. That then goes on to learning aim B, which is where you then present your final business idea. And as part of that, again, you would be sharing all the information in terms of what is your pricing structure, what services are you going to be providing or goods, and a little bit of detail, obviously, about your findings. Part C then is therefore going to be refining and reflection on the feedback that you received from part B, and so you go away and act upon the feedback. So maybe if somebody's questioning you on the pricing, perhaps you might go away, refine it, and adapt your plan there. Again, that component is all internally assessed. And when we talk about internal assessment, everything, when you start these components, you will be given an assignment brief, which clearly defines what you need to do to achieve the relevant grades. Then if I just move the slide on to component 3. So this is the only component which is actually externally assessed. And so for this one, you will actually be provided with a case study for a small to medium enterprise. And with that case study, you need to demonstrate a knowledge and understanding of elements of promotion and financial records. Okay, so there's a little bit of finance involved with this component. So obviously we draw into your mathematical skills. And as part of the component, you are looking to give recommendations to this given enterprise in terms of the way they would need to improve its performance, or ways they might be able to improve their performance. That particular component is worth 40%. And with that component, you actually have the opportunity to take that in February of year 11. And then there is the potential to retake it again in May. The other things that I would say with the BTec Tech Award is thinking about, well, in the future, where does this take me? You've got potentially, you can go on to BTec level 3 enterprise. Also, other things which might be useful, apprenticeships. So if that was an avenue you were looking to go down, BTec Enterprise would be really helpful for that. Some students you might be interested in going into maybe finance. So potentially, if you're thinking about going down the accountancy route, then this could be an option for you. Marketing, again, potentially might be a career path that some of you are interested in. Business management, or it might just be actually in the future, you've already got your business idea and perhaps you're thinking of setting up an enterprise in the near future. And again, a lot of what we do in class obviously would help you for your future plans. In terms of the BTec, I think it's worth just mentioning how the gradings work. So the table that you hopefully can see on the PowerPoint gives you an idea about sort of GCSE equivalents in terms of what we're looking at. So in terms of the BTec, you can take it at level 1 or level 2. Generally speaking, my expectation would be that everybody would be taking this at level 2. And so if we look at a level 2 pass, we're talking here an equivalent of a 4 at GCSE. Merit, 5.5. Level 2 distinction is a 7, and then your distinction, level 2 distinction star is an 8.5. So obviously the BTec is recognised alongside GCSE qualifications. As I mentioned there, the exam in year 11 is taken in February, so potentially it may well be that by the end of February you have completed the BTec in Enterprise, and so when you're planning for other GCSEs, obviously may well free up a bit of time. Obviously, if I was presenting this live, then I would now ask if there are any questions. But do please make contact with myself, either in person or via email, if there are any questions or anything else that you would like to know. Thank you for listening, and I will hopefully see many of you very soon.